So if you guys remember, a couple months ago, I made a video and I titled it, "The Houston Rockets have failed James Harden and now it's time for them to trade him." And a lot of people pushed back on that video and they said, why would they trade Harden? They could still make moves to the roster, just get a big and see where you can go from there. But now, a couple months later, James Harden has requested a trade. Russell Westbrook requested his own trade and he's on the Wizards now. The Rockets got John Wall, got DeMarcus Cousins, and despite all of that, James Harden just checked in 2 days ago at the recording of this video. So to all the Rockets fans out there, let it go. It's time to let James Harden go. Because at this point, with James Harden going to clubs, partying with Lil Baby, getting that 4PF chain, he's in his bag, you feel me? With all that going on, there's just no point of having him on the team, especially when you see that his commitment is not with the organization. But the real reason that the Rockets are in trouble and why it's going to be so hard for them to trade James Harden is because James Harden has all the power. But before we get into that, make sure you drop a like on this video. Let's aim for at least 1,000 likes. I know you guys can do it. Y'all have been showing hella support to the channel. Let's keep it up. Also hit that subscribe button, push the bell for post notifications. Follow me on social media. The links are down below in the description box. And without further ado, let's talk about the real problem when it comes to trading James Harden. We all know how prolific of a scorer and a player James Harden is. He's a multiple-time All-Star, former league MVP, finished top 5 in the race, sometimes top 2 on multiple occasions, led the league in assists, and over the last 3 years in a row, he's led the league in scoring, averaging over 30 plus points per game. So you would think with a resume like that, coming off of another historic scoring season, that it would be easy to find suitors for James Harden. And I can tell you for a fact that there are definitely more than the reported teams that are looking to trade for James Harden. So do not think that just because it's reported that he's going to go to the Nets or he wants to go to the Sixers, that it's a guarantee that he's going to go there. Do not forget, James Harden is not a free agent. He needs to be traded to move to a different team, so his fate is in the Rockets' hands. But the problem with the Rockets right now is that James Harden has all the leverage. He controls his value. Him going to the clubs and, partying with Lil Baby, like I said earlier, that's not doing anything to help his value. That's lowering it. Him not coming to camp and practices, that's lowering his trade value. I believe he has to pass like 6 straight COVID tests and all of them have to be negative for him to even be cleared to play. That's another setback for the team. And for people that don't know how ugly this could get, let me present to you a scenario. Vince Carter when he was in Toronto. When Vince Carter was in Toronto, over the last couple of years during his tenure there, his numbers took a noticeable decline, to the point that he went from a 25 point per game score on relatively good efficiency to the last 20 games with the Toronto Raptors before his trade to the Nets, in which he averaged 16 points, 3 assists and 3 rebounds on 41% from the field, 32% from 3, and 69% from the free throw line. And if you don't think he quit on that team, just look at his numbers as soon as he got to New Jersey. He was a 28 point per game scorer on 46, 43, and 82 shooting splits. It was obvious that he didn't want to be there, and for good reason, as that organization really was a complete mess. Now you look at that situation and compare it to James Harden, and the parallels are very obvious. You have a star that doesn't want to be there. He's got a new head coach that's already hinted at taking the ball out of James Harden's hands, so the system that's allowed him to dominate the game in the fashion that he's done over the last 3 years, that's probably not going to be what they run this next upcoming season. And who knows how that may have rubbed off on James Harden, especially considering the reports that James Harden is not fond of Stephen Silas. And what's even crazier is that Stephen Silas went on the record and stated that Harden and Russ pushed for his signing in the first place.
The only relationship that I have with James is the fact that he was one of the people who in the interview process recommended that I get the job. So.
And let's not forget, you got issues with PJ Tucker wanting a new contract. Daryl Morey is no longer the general manager. Russell Westbrook said the culture is toxic with no accountability, and Trevor Ariza somewhat backed that statement. And then you got James Harden, who just doesn't want to be there and is making it obvious by going out touting his 4PF chains at the strip clubs. So if that's the case, why hold on to him any longer? The locker room environment must matter at a certain point in time, and that environment is not going to be a very good one. It's not going to be healthy at all. You're also adding in a guy like John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins to that scenario as well. Christian Wood is another up-and-coming young player in the league, and he's going to have to be in that environment to thrive at the center position more than likely, because I assume Boogie is going to be coming off of the bench. So with all of the moving parts, combined with the fact that the front office and the head coaching position is going to be entirely new, why keep James Harden? Because now he has all the leverage to suppress his trade value lower and lower and lower. And for a scorer in the middle of his prime, that's one of the greatest that we have ever seen do it, there's really no point to hold on to him any longer. Because let's just be honest here, the Rockets need to look in the mirror and face reality. Even the best case scenario for Houston is to make the Western Conference Finals and lose yet again to the Los Angeles Lakers. Because let's not act like they have anybody that can guard Anthony Davis. We saw it last year. And sure, PJ Tucker isn't playing the 5, but I don't think Christian Wood and DeMarcus Cousins are better replacements. Hell, DeMarcus Cousins might even be worse because his pick and roll defense is just going to be exploited way more than PJ Tucker's would. And with all that being said, why go any further with this James Harden era? It's time to call it a day and keep it pushing. Because now you've already traded Russell Westbrook, you got a shitty contract in John Wall, you can't move anybody for any legitimate assets other than maybe PJ Tucker, and considering the fact that their ceiling isn't very high, combined with the fact that James Harden is the only person that they can get a future with because they have no draft picks, let's not forget that. So what's next? Honestly, what's next? There's nothing the Rockets can do right now other than move James Harden. Because like I said earlier, you're going to create a hella toxic environment in the locker room because every one of his teammates knows he doesn't want to be there. The coach knows he doesn't want to be there. The head office knows he doesn't want to be there. So with all that being said, let him go. Houston, we have a problem. I know. That was hella corny, I'm sorry, but I had to make that analogy. Regardless, you guys, let me know your opinions down below in the comment section. What do you think about this James Harden fiasco? This has been extremely crazy. Let me know what y'all think down below. If you enjoyed this channel, hit that subscribe button, push the bell for post notifications, follow me on social media, and check out my articles. All the links are in the description box down below. Y'all stay safe and have a great day. I'm out. Peace.